Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am Nick from Australia. Welcome to the Rugby League Breakdown Podcast, episode number 45. A new era for the Rugby League Breakdown Podcast. And as always, I'm joined by ProEnzo Vidz and new co-host with the headphones on, All Out CHAMPA. How are you, brother?
I'm doing well, thanks, and thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be a co-host on the Rugby League Breakdown podcast. Oh man, I'm
You've
keen.
been
I
hired.
am keen.
You've got the job. You've been hired. Me and ProEnzo Vids have agreed. We've given you the job, and unfortunately, Sam Revel has had to step down on his terms. By the way, not our terms. Me and ProEnzo Vids were up till about 4 a.m. the other night in absolute tears with using tissues. We're upset that he wasn't no longer going to be a part of the podcast. It's very, very upsetting. But the show goes on, and we have selected All Out CHAMPA to step up to the plate, and he's going to be joining us every Wednesday night for the Rugby League Breakdown podcast. So, CHAMPA, welcome.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Lorenzo. If this is a through the screen handshake, I'm shaking it to both of you right now.
Don't let me down, you bastard.
Oh, pressure's on. Pressure is on.
Pressure's on, all right. No doubt about it. ProEnzo Vids, how are you, brother?
Bro, I'm going pretty well actually. Just obviously, yeah, like you said, it's a new era. I just want to say welcome to All Out CHAMPA. Love your content, bro. It's good to have you on the Ankle Breaker podcast. Sorry, not the fucking Ankle Breaker podcast. Oh my god, the Breakdown podcast every week. I don't know where that from, but
had to sneak in that little promotion. He had to sneak in that little promotion for his show.
Huh? How good? How bloody good's that? Well, unbelievable. And I just want to say hello to everyone in the live chat. Hope everyone's doing well. I see we got CJ Moxley here. Warriors NRL Fanatics is here. We've got Ark. He had all his money on CJ Moxley as the co-host. He lost all his money. He said that's not good at all. Oh no. Hello, Jason Reader. Hello, Luke, Melbourne Storm fan. National Sports Loaded's here. Rugby League Roundup. SS Storm fan. Sam Revel's also in the chat. Shout out to Sam Revel. We've got Jimmy Miller in the chat. Hello, Jimmy. Hope you're well, mate. We got Samson 6000 in the chat as well. The chat's getting good as well. We got Faraz. We got everyone rolling in now. It's good to see everyone here for the Rugby League Breakdown Podcast, episode number 45. It's good to see. It's episode 45, and it's also it's a new era for the podcast as well. And I also want to announce as well that boys, we spoke a little bit about it in the green room before we came on the air tonight, and I'm going to be bringing in a new segment. It's a bit out of the blue. I haven't really spoke to you as much about it, but we were going to do it next week. But I have thought of something, and we will do it tonight. I've got something lined up, and we will get into that at some stage during the podcast. But boys, are you ready to rip into the podcast?
Absolutely, always
I'm ready.
Well, that's
ready as I'll ever be. Let's get it on.
Oh, let's get it on. All right, we've got a few things to talk about tonight. I'm going to start off with topic number 5, and that is the Dolphins. They have signed Cowboys forward Tom Gilbert. Is this a good buy for the Dolphins? I'm going to start first with the new co-host, All Out CHAMPA. Tom Gilbert to the Dolphins from the Cowboys. Good signing for the Dolphins, you reckon, or do you reckon it's a bad signing?
No, I reckon it's a good signing. The forward pack is going to get stronger. I've been paying close attention to Tom Gilbert. Gilbert. And he seems like a Gilbert. Sorry. And he seems like a really a player with a good future in the NRL. But again, this is another forward that they've signed, and I'm just wondering on where their backline is going to come in. When are they going to start signing their backline? Because they still don't have a marquee signing, and they still don't have a spine player yet. But look, Gilbert, it's a good signing. It will strengthen the forward pack. But again, I would have focused more on the spine, the halves, the fullback if I was the Dolphins, because that's where the money is. But
Yeah.
look, if there's a chance to strengthen your forward pack, I reckon go for it. So as a signing, it's good, but I would have focused on much more other options, like again the spine.
Yeah. No doubt. ProEnzo, Vidz, what about you, mate? Tom Gilbert to the Dolphins. Is it a good buy for the Dolphins, bro?
Yeah, I reckon it is. I reckon that he's more opportunity being at a new franchise. I get it. He was good to Cowboys, but I feel like under Bennett, his game will get even better, in my opinion. You just know Wayne that he gets the best out of players. He's a good influence for players going to a club as well, as we've probably seen in the past, as many players. And yeah, looking at going to the Dolphins is a really good move for him and his career going forward. I reckon gives him more of a it gives him more of a, I guess, an opportunity to sort of show what kind of player he is, because I think he might actually get into the starting team, like not the starting team, but maybe from the 17. Gets an opportunity to start off with in the new side, so it's good for him, I reckon.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Look, I'm with you. I think it's a great buy for the Dolphins. Wayne Bennett's obviously been watching the Cowboys. He's obviously been watching Tom Gilbert, and he is an edge back rower. He can play in the middle as well. He's a fairly versatile forward. If you need him to play 45 minutes in the front row, he can do that for you. If you need him to play a full game in the back row, he can do it for you as well. So I think Tom Gilbert to the Dolphins is a terrific signing for them. As a Cowboys fan, it is a big loss for us, but I guess with the re-signing of Hilam Lukey, Jeremiah Nanai, the addition of Luciano Leilua next year, someone was always going to move on, and unfortunately it's Tom Gilbert, but I wish him all the best, and I think it's a great buy for the Dolphins.
I'll just ask you this, boys. Again, this is another forward that the Dolphins have signed. Yep. Do you reckon that it's time to now focus not only their attention but their money towards a halfback, a 5'8", a fullback, someone that's going to direct the team around? Because, again, this will strengthen their edge. Like you said, a great second row, can also play in the middle, very versatile, like you said. But I reckon it's time now to put their attention into a halfback, because that's where the money is, and that's where I reckon the wins for the Dolphins are going to come from, as their spine. I reckon they should now stop focusing on the forwards and start focusing on a halfback. Start focusing on a fullback. Start focusing on a marquee signing, the face of your club.
You make a good point, bro. And obviously they did buy Jermaine Asako, who, I mean, if he's the Dolphins fullback, I'll be surprised. I think there's other options out there at the Dolphins. I'm surprised Scott Drinkwater hasn't been offered by the Dolphins. I know, as a Cowboys fan, I'd be filthy if Drinkwater left, but I'm surprised the Dolphins haven't approached Scott Drinkwater, although he did re-sign just recently. I think it was about 12 months ago now he re-signed. So, I don't know. They definitely need a halfback, and Cody Nicaramo's on the outer at the Warriors. Harris-Tavita could be on the outer as well. There's, there's fringe players like Braden Trindle. There's guys like Jock Madden from your boys. There's a lot of halves that might be available very soon. So
they were looking at Sean O'Sullivan as well.
Sean O'Sullivan, they just signed as well. Yeah, so they definitely are going to buy halves. I think they're just waiting for the right man. And before I get your take on it, ProEnzo Vidz, I just want to give a shout out in the chat to our friend Ark. He just donated 99 cents, and he did not leave a message. I think that might have been an accident. But guys, I've said this before. If you want to donate to the channel, feel free to do so. PayPal is the preferred option because the money goes into my bank account instantly. We've also got Super Chat, which is also active as well. And quickly as well, shout out to CJ Moxley. He just became a member from Australia.
He
just joined the membership. Shout out to CJ Moxley for joining the membership. Thank you, CJ. Appreciate it, bro. I know the bank's mucked you up for a few times, so shout out to CJ for becoming a member as well. But ProEnzo, what's your take on what all our CHAMPA just asks about the halves for the Dolphins?
Well, he's right. I mean, they need a marquee halfback because I don't think you can go to a new season without having a real halfback. We've seen how many sides have struggled without having a real halfback and not having that sort of leader to sort of direct the team. And like I was going to say before, Sean O'Sullivan's obviously, I think he will go to the Dolphins because of Peter, his dad, who works at the club. So I think that's a good chance as well. But I think aside O'Sullivan, and they need an experienced half as well. I remember a couple of months ago there was Milford, there was Uston, which they probably need. They need someone at that caliber of experience signing with them, I reckon. So it will be interesting to see who else they sign, like the bigger name half. I mean, there's obviously Munster out there as well. So look, it's going to be really interesting, I think, where they'll go.
Boys, I'm going to make a prediction right now on the Dolphins. I reckon they'll sign Anthony Milford for 5'8". O'Sullivan will be the halfback, and that hooker, I reckon they'll buy Marshall King because Reid Marnie next year is going to the Bulldogs. Marshall King's off contract this year. I reckon Marshall King will end up at the Dolphins.
Good shout. It's a good shout because I don't think he's going to get much game time money being there.
He won't get any game time next year with Reid Marnie at the Bulldogs. No way. So I reckon he might end up at the Dolphins, bro.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Anything else on the Dolphins, boys?
Just the marquee signing. That's all they need. Once they get that face of the club, I reckon then we can start considering them as an actual threat. As of right now, too much forwards. Oh, I wouldn't say too much forwards. I'd say they've got their forward pack, I reckon. Now start working on the
You can never have enough forwards.
Never.
Yeah, that's the other thing. And look, last thing I'll say, this is a bit out there, and it's not really in the topics, but I'm just going to throw it out there. I reckon Maurice Walsh will end up at the Dolphins.
Ooh,
that's good.
Yeah, it might happen. It really could happen. It's been speculation for months, so it might as well happen.
If you're a Warriors fan, I hope it doesn't happen for your sake, but Maurice Walsh is from Queensland. Apparently he's homesick. There's all these rumors going around. The Dolphins make sense, but you could be the face of a franchise in Queensland, and the coach is Wayne Bennett. I don't know.
Doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, you can't get any better than that. I just reckon he'll end up at the Dolphins. I really do. One way or another, somehow, some way. The contracts, we all know they mean nothing nowadays. I reckon Walsh will end up at the Dolphins. But anyway, we'll move on. Tom Gilbert's a good buy for the Dolphins, and we all agree. Topic number 4, boys. Should the NRL Grand Final be moved around like it is in the NFL? There's been rumors going around last 24 to 48 hours that the NRL Grand Final this year could be in Brisbane because something in Sydney is blocking it potentially happening in Sydney this year at Stadium Australia. I want to start first with you, ProEnzo Vidz. Should the NRL Grand Final be moved around like it is in the NFL?
Well, look, I talked about this with some of you last night about my thoughts whether the Grand Final should be moved around or not. I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. I think it's always been great at ANZ, Stadium Australia. I think that's where it's just, it just feels normal. It really does feel normal having it at the, at Stadium Australia. But I just think that, Suncorp was good. Like, it was good. The atmosphere was all right despite the lockdowns and COVID and everything. But I think just out of respect as well and out of just history, I think that's where they should just keep it, I think I wouldn't mind, I wouldn't mind maybe playing it occasionally at Suncorp once per decade. I don't know if that's something they will consider at all, but I do think that just keeping in Sydney makes more sense in my opinion. I think it does, and I want to put it out there as well. Look, next year Queensland don't have Magic Round, but this year, I think Queensland mainly have Magic Round, and maybe Sydney should just have the Grand Final. I think that's fair, but again, that depends on where the Magic Round moves next year. So it's going to be interesting, but look, simple answer, keep in Sydney.
Well, CHAMPA, mate, what do you reckon?
Well, I don't know. I'm a bit on the fence about this because I first heard this news. I'm like, oh, they definitely can't get rid of it in Sydney. And I will admit, the Grand Final last year, it didn't feel the same. It being in Suncorp Stadium. I'll admit that. But I like the idea. For some reason, I like the idea. Because we all talk about game expansion, expand the game around the country. We're fighting a losing battle against AFL, or fighting a losing battle against the A-League, or whatever. the biggest game of your competition, carrying it around the world, around the country. To let's say we'll bring it to Melbourne, and then who knows? We might bring it to Adelaide. We might bring it to Perth. It sounds good on paper. What I worry though is it going to work? Is the attendance going to work, or are the fans going to accept it? Some people say the fans' opinion doesn't matter. Well, if the fans' opinion didn't matter, well, we wouldn't be talking about it right now. Again, I'm a bit on the fence about this. I like the idea of taking the biggest game that we have in our competition around the country and taking it to other stadiums. But another thing I haven't touched on: does this break the culture of rugby league? Does this break the tradition? Because it does. Does the tradition mean anything?
Yep.
If I can give you a straightforward answer, I gotta say no. I'm all in for what works. Don't fix it if it's not broken. I like it in Sydney. If the stadium's basically destroyed, have it somewhere else. But if it's good at Stadium Australia, have it at Stadium Australia. I reckon.
I'll give you my take on it. I was happy that it was at Brisbane last year, obviously due to the lockdowns and all that. They had no choice but to move it to Queensland last year because all the lockdowns in Sydney and stuff was out of control. But the NRL Grand Final's always been played at Stadium Australia. Since 1908, it's always been in Sydney. And then the New South Wales Rugby League set it up, and when the game got bigger with other teams coming in, like Queensland sides coming in the competition and all that, it's always been in Sydney. There's no reason now. There's no reason now to move it around. It's not like a toy. You can't be moving the grand final around like it's a toy. You got to keep it in Sydney. You played in Sydney. You played at the biggest ground. Obviously, you can't take it to Melbourne because the AFL will outdo the NRL as they do in Melbourne all the goddamn time. Sydney, you fit 83,000 people in there at Stadium Australia compared to Brisbane, 52,000. Look, I think the grand final has to stay in Sydney. You can't be moving around all the time. If there's construction issues, then sure, take it to Queensland, take it to Suncorp Stadium. Besides ANZ Stadium and Suncorp Stadium, I wouldn't take it anywhere else. I wouldn't take it to Melbourne. I wouldn't take it to Perth. I wouldn't take it to Adelaide. I wouldn't do that. Tradition has to stay in the game. Loyalty has to stay in the game. And I think you got to respect it. And I think it needs to stay at Stadium Australia.
Absolutely.
I will ask you this, Nick, and you can answer on this one too, Lorenzo. Would carrying the grand final around the country, would that help bring eyes towards the NRL? Will that help expand the game like I was going on before?
It probably would. It probably would to an extent, but it's not fair if the grand final is the Rabbitohs versus the Sharks. Rabbitohs and Sharks members can only get to Sydney. They can't afford to go to Perth or Adelaide or Melbourne or whatever. It's not fair on the members who are there every second weekend at their home ground. It's not fair on them. So, look, I love it when the NRL takes a game or two to Perth. I love it when the NRL takes a game to Adelaide, I think every NRL club should take a game to a regional area, like maybe Perth, Adelaide, Darwin, wherever. Take it wherever. I mean, obviously, this weekend, the Eels, they take a game usually once a year to Darwin to take on the Cowboys. So, and, the Rabbitohs always take a game to Dubbo, for example. So, I think the NRL Grand Final, you can't be toying with this. I think you got to leave it in Sydney. It's got to stay at Stadium Australia. But say once every 5 years, have it in Brisbane. Why not? But it's got to always be in Sydney, man.
Yeah, and just my take on it as well. I mean, the reason why people are sort of comparing this as to NFL, for example. Well, the thing is, I don't think NRL and NFL are the exact same. Yes, it's good for NFL as how they move their grand final, whatever it is over there, because they move it around to other stadiums and other places in the USA and stuff like that. But still, I think the areas there in the USA where they play NFL, it's more popular, the sport there.
Yes.
Whereas moving it around Australia. There's some parts of Australia where rugby league's dead, So I think only Sydney and probably Suncorp makes sense.
Yeah, well said. Well said. Anything else you boys
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
talk about on this? Like anything else on this, boys?
I think we covered it pretty well.
CHAMPA, anything else you want to mention on this?
Yeah, I've said
before we
my
move
piece.
on. All right, easy as. Well, let's move on to topic number 3.
Oh no, I've said my piece.
Oh boy, Warriors fans, I must be filthy still. I genuinely feel sorry for them. They had a very, very rough Anzac Day night. Topic number 3. How much pressure is on Nathan Brown after the Warriors got beat 70-10 against the Melbourne Storm on Anzac Day? Boy, oh boy, as you guys would know, last Wednesday night on the podcast, I wanted the Storm Warriors fixture on Anzac Day to be moved on. Something new and fresh is what I think would be best for the game. Unfortunately, I think I was correct on that one. They were terrible the other night, and I guess the question is now is, I'll start with you first, ProEnzo Vidz. How much pressure was on the Warriors coach Nathan Brown after that deadly defeat the other night?
Well, I'm going to base on a couple of things, Losing by 17K in first grade, I don't believe. I think that's definitely reserve grade sort of standard or lower grade, like SG ball standard, to lose by 70. Because when you think about it, you have a first grade team. I mean, the Warriors do have a first grade team. And, to lose by that much has been embarrassing. Yes, that there were no chance against Melbourne. And yes, Storm haven't lost to the Warriors in 7 or 8 years, and but still losing by 17 no excuse, In a way, I guess maybe just the night Storm were too good. Maybe on the night Storm were too good, Warriors were very bad. That's the result of it. But still, I think when you lose by 70 and just the way Warriors been so far this year, I think just Nathan Brown is under pressure. I think it is concerning to know that Nathan Brown hasn't taken a side to finals since 2006. That's enough evidence for me to show that he's not the guy to take it to the next level, personally. And just also as well, I think if the Warriors would benefit with the squad they have with another coach, no offense to Brown, I mean, he's done well to bring the players together and sign the players he wants to, like Fanua Blake and, Walsh, and getting all those guys to come to the club. But I don't think Brown is that type of guy that will get the best out of them. I think they would benefit with a more experienced coach that has done it more in bigger occasions, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, look, I just think that's where the Brown will probably end up. I think he'll be sacked very soon.
Well, ProEnzo Vidz, if Nathan Brown's getting the sack, who should be the Warriors' new head coach?
Again, that's the issue because there's not many people out there. I get it. Shane Flanagan's probably the most one that is experienced out there, and the one that probably most clubs would look at. Look, I don't know. I used to. I would have said that a year ago, looking at how Paul Green went for Queensland. I think he's done with coaching.
Okay, yep. All that CHAMPA, mate. What's your take on this? How much pressure is on the Warriors after losing 70-10?
Well,
all that CHAMPA.
Sorry, yeah, you just cut in. I'm here.
Sorry, mate. I was just asking you how much pressure is on Nathan Brown after losing 70-10 on Anzac Day.
The pressure is going to be on, and it will be on. Oh, mate. I mean, you don't lose 70-10 and think that your job is still guaranteed.
Yep.
I reckon there's more players. There's more blame on the players as much as the coach as well. I'll answer the question. I'll answer the question right up. The pressure is on. He probably has the most pressure in the competition right now. He's probably the coach who's getting looked at the most. Besides Trent Barrett, he's getting looked at the most. All right. He coaches these boys, but these boys still go on the field. The coach can only do so much. The coach isn't the one missing the tackles. The coaches are the one letting the tries in. It's the players.
Yep.
What excuse do the players have? They had Maurice Walsh. They had Harris Tavita. They had Sean Johnson. They had their captain Aiden Fanua Blake. What excuse can they have? Nothing. They were what? They were down by 4 points in half time, 14-10, and then have 70 put on them. The most points that were scored in a single half. I reckon the players did a huge look at themselves because my goodness, they were just absolutely god awful, and it Anzac Day. Doesn't that mean anything to these players? They're playing for a lot of pride, a lot of dignity here, and to put in a performance like that, disgraceful, absolutely disgraceful. Every single one of those players need to look at themselves and think, "Wow, what could I have done that I could have done what could I have done better during that game?" Of course, the pressure is going to be on Nathan Brown. He coaches these boys, all right. And like ProEnzo said, it's been what since 2006 he's made a finals appearance over a decade ago. So, geez. I will say Nathan Brown needs to really have a look at his roster and think, all right, who are these players? All right, he needs to look at his roster and think, all right, which of these players are actually showing me effort and which of these players are just filling in a spot? Because if I find the ones who fill in the spot, all right, there, the tick goes over you. I'll look at my reserve grade, bring the guy in. He needs to look at these players and think, and just look at his team list, because these are the players that he's putting on the field and putting in a performance like that. I mean, the Warriors. They came off good wins against Brisbane, good wins against Cowboys, and get absolutely embarrassed. They weren't embarrassed like this. Every loss prior to the Storm were close losses. They were close losses. Come up against the Storm, they get blown off the park. I reckon they really need to look at Nathan Brown needs to look at his players and think,
no doubt.
All right, who should I keep and who should I drop? He needs to drop a few players.
Yeah, well said, bro. Look, I'm with you. I believe the Warriors disrespected Anzac Day against the Storm. They showed no respect for the Diggers and the Soldiers. They were dreadful. When you play on Anzac Day, it's a privilege. When you play on Anzac Day, it's like playing a mini grand final or a mini semi-final type game.
Yeah, that's right.
You need to be up for it. Like, have a look at the Dragons the other night. The Dragons in the Roos on Anzac Day. The Dragons, they were in ordinary form going into that game. They had a win over Newcastle, and Newcastle have been struggling since round 2. And the Dragons have been very inconsistent since round 2, round 3 as well. It's really disappointing the way the Warriors played the other night. I know, I said it last week. I said the fixture of the Storm and Warriors on Anzac Day needs to change. We need something new, something fresh. It's always the same stuff. Storm always winning. 13 plus on Anzac Day. If not, they're always winning anyway. I can't even remember the last time the Warriors won on Anzac Day against Storm. It would have been a long time ago. I can't even remember the last time it happened. So I stand by my comments last week when I said it needs to change, and it does need to change. And look, Nathan Brown, he is under enormous pressure. If the Warriors get beat 13 plus against Canberra on Saturday afternoon, I would honestly be surprised if Nathan Brown was still coaching Monday. I would honestly be surprised, because if you are going to lose 70 to 10,
far off, yeah.
If you're going to lose 70 to 10, but in the media there's been nothing about the Warriors this week. There's been nothing about Nathan Brown under pressure. How has that happened? If this was soccer over in England, if this was the Super League, if this was basketball, the team getting beat by 60 points, if this was NFL, the team getting beat by 60 points, the coach would probably be sacked right now. He would probably be sacked. So,
exactly.
In my opinion, the Warriors this weekend against the Raiders, it is literally must win. And
it's a game they can win.
It's a winnable game. They're playing Canberra, and Canberra have been ordinary all year as well. So, if I'm the Warriors, it's must win for the Warriors this weekend. They have to win. If they lose to Canberra, there's going to be more danger and worrying signs. So, and if you go back in history for a minute, boys, Nathan Brown's winning percentage is very, very average. So, I think Nathan Brown's probably going to get the sack very soon. I'll tell you what, boys, if the Warriors don't win a game before Magic Round and Nathan Brown's still coach, I will honestly be surprised.
Yeah, I do feel like
well. Yeah.
Go on, Lorenzo. You were going to say something.
How about this one? Oh, yeah, you go, Lorenzo.
No, I was going to say, I just think that before Magic Round, it's unlikely. If they lose this weekend, it's unlikely he's going to stay before Magic Round.
Yeah. CHAMPA, go
on. I don't know if you boys know, but get this. Storm get all their kicks it would have been 82-10. That's 18 points away from 100. 100.
Yeah.
That's fucked.
It shows how many tries were just leaked in. It shows how many tries were leaked in. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
It's shocking.
Oh,
it's absolutely
geez.
shocking. Well, I
The
guess
Warriors-
we'll find out.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out what happens with Nathan Brown and the Warriors. I guess we'll really find out. Anything else you boys want to say on this before we move on?
Nathan, just please coach better.
Yeah. CHAMPA, anything else?
And look at your team list. Look at your team list. Look at the team list and think, all right, who do I need to drop and who do I need to keep? Who's showing in the effort and who's just playing? Who's just filling in the spot? Because I can
last thing
pick
I'll
out
say on
half
this,
a dozen of those players.
Last thing I'll say is, for fuck's sake, play Ben Murdoch-Masila. He's back from injury. He's ready to go. Play him, for God's sakes. Play him.
He needs to play.
Put
he
him in
needs
at
to
17.
play. That guy is a weapon.
Get rid of Bailey Sheridan and put Murdoch-Masila in the back row,
He
for
needs to get on
God's
that
sakes.
field.
Do it. All right, let's move on. Topic number 2. Now, this might get a little bit heated. This topic could get a little bit out of hand here. Who replaces Latrell Mitchell at centre for Origin 1? I want to start with you first on this one, all out CHAMPA. There's plenty of guys going around at the moment. You've got Campbell Graham, Tony Staggs, Sia Fatalakai, Stephen Crichton, Matt Burton, Jack Whiten, Clinton Gufferson. There's probably more names that I haven't even mentioned off the top of my head, but all out CHAMPA. Who replaces Latrell Mitchell at centre for Origin 1, in your opinion?
Well, I think the play speaks for itself. I honestly reckon that Stephen Crichton should get that position. I can name so many reasons why. I'll name the first one, probably the obvious one. If Brian Toho, who's, let's face it, will probably be in the side, is on the wing. Think about this as a backline. Toho, Crichton, Luai, Cleary. That's probably the best, one of the best backlines in the competition right now. You have that in your own side. I can't see anyone in that Queensland side stopping that. They know all their game. They know each other's game so well. They're like brothers in that Penrith side, and I reckon he deserves it. Stephen Crichton consistently plays great footy every week. I mean, Tony Staggs he's been playing great, but I say recently he's been playing out of his skin. And Talakai, I still feel like he has a lot more to prove until he gets a position. Campbell Graham is good, but I reckon he's no Crichton. I reckon Crichton has got him in every single category. Has got him in strength, speed. That one could go to Graham, but in terms of agility, I still go Crichton. In terms of chemistry, since he's playing with most of his teammates, I reckon Crichton's the choice. Crichton is the choice for that Origin side. But I'm interested to hear what you boys think, and who you guys choose as well.
All right, well said. So all out CHAMPA is on the Stephen Crichton train. Don't mind it one bit. ProEnzo Vidz, whose train are you on to replace Latrell Mitchell for Origin 1? Who would your centre be, brother?
Well, I'm not going to disagree with what CHAMPA said. I think Stephen Crichton's next in line because he's been in the squad for a while. He got picked there last year as that extra reserves. So I think that's where I do believe he'll step in because based on what Freddie did last year, keeping in the reserves, and that indicates that he might be next in line to get an opportunity, whether there was injury or suspension, which with Mitchell, he's injured. So I think he'll step in the centre role. But I'll tell you what, I wouldn't rule out Campbell Graham either. I think Campbell Graham's a fair shout to get a spot there. Plays consistently well for Souths, and I think he's ever since he's made that switch to permanently to the centres for wing, I think he's improved massively. Yes, I like Talakai. I think a lot of people are saying Talakai should be the new centre. I get it, but look, I wouldn't rush Talakai in yet. I think Talakai will be a great centre. If he keeps staying in the centre position, then he could be a shot maybe one day for Origin. But look, he's had a couple of good games, and I get it. He is eligible for New South Wales, but at this point in time, I wouldn't play him yet. I'll play it safe and go with Crichton, who's been waiting for a little while and a little longer too. So you guys show a bit of respect to the people that have been talking about a bit longer, I think.
Yep. No, well said. Look, Oh, it's hard, mate, because the form Talakai's in, it's hard to go against him. Stags would suit the Origin arena. Gufferson and Whiten have both done the job in the centres. Matt Burton's also an option that Freddie likes, but he hasn't played centre since last year as well. Crichton, with that Penrith combination, is a very tempting move. But, boys, I've been on this guy since probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I'm sticking with him. I reckon Campbell Graham's the man. I would go with Campbell Graham. I think Campbell Graham's been in the New South Wales Origin squad last year. He was in the squad. He knows the system. He did his, I guess you could say, traineeship in the squad for New South Wales. A bit like what Gilbert did a couple of years ago, and Gilbert finally got a crack. I think Campbell Graham is the man I would go with. And Campbell Graham as well, boys, has been playing right centre. I think what New South Wales should do, let's go at fullback. On the wings, probably going to be To'o and Addo Carr. I would move Turbo to left centre, and I would go Campbell Graham at right centre as well. I think Campbell Graham's got it all, man. Campbell Graham's a weapon of a player. He's got lots of great attributes about him. I know Crichton and Graham. I mean, if you can compare the two players, there's not much between them. Stephen Crichton does probably have the upper hand because he is playing with Penrith, and Campbell Graham is at the Bunnies, who have been a bit up and down to start the year. But, mate, in my opinion, I would go with Campbell Graham. I think Campbell Graham's the man. I am aware of the notification I just got on my phone. There is breaking news. I will get to that in just a second. I will post that in a minute. But, boys, if Campbell Graham got picked, would you boys have a problem with Campbell Graham?
No, zero issues. I think he deserves his spot. He's one of the people that deserve his spot if he was to get it, I will say. He's consistent. So.
Yeah. What about you, CHAMPA?
I'm not going to discredit the guy's talent. I'm not going to discredit his accomplishments and, of course, his skill. He is a talented player, but I reckon you are really missing a huge opportunity if you don't play Crichton, just because of the chemistry and how he knows most of the Penrith players there. Like this may sound like a very cliche thing, but chemistry is important aside, especially in Origin. Most of these players don't play with each other. Crichton plays with most of these boys because I know what people are going to say. You can't choose all the Penrith for Origin. Actually, you can't have them to be. I understand that, but where the money is, where the wins are going to come from, I reckon it's going to come from Crichton. Look, I guess I really wouldn't have a problem with Graham plays, but again, missed opportunity if you don't play Crichton. I feel like he deserves them more than Graham. He's consistently a great centre, and I reckon he will show more determination if he's given that Blues jersey. But it will be interesting to see who Freddie picks.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And look, I just want to say, ladies and gentlemen, some breaking news that was just announced on NRL 360. I've heard Port Kent's reporting this on NRL 360. Again, could be all bullshit, but this is just what I've just been told. Breaking news: Maurice Walsh set to sign with the Broncos.
Wow.
Yeah. Jesus.
I thought the Dolphins.
Holy crap.
I honestly thought the Dolphins. I just checked Twitter, and I have been told that Maurice Walsh. Oh, I spelled his name fucking wrong. Jesus Christ. Apologies for that. Maurice Walsh is set to join the Broncos.
Wow.
Apparently, it'll be announced in the coming weeks.
Okay, well,
ProEnzo,
my thoughts far out.
Oh my goodness! Wow, that is huge. I don't think people realize how huge that is.
Well, where do you start, bro? Like, I don't know. I thought Dolphins would guarantee to pick him up at one point. Obviously, Josh will be pretty happy about that. Back to the Broncos for Walshy.
Well, they need to go back.
Yeah, exactly. I was with you. I thought Dolphins had him. I thought Dolphins literally had him in his grasp. and now he
I
could
thought I did too.
man. If we were just talking about how the pressure might be on Nathan Brown and the Warriors. I think that just escalated times 1,000 if they lose Walsh.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah. They're losing him, brother. I think they're losing him. And look,
but let's go on.
A big rugby league show in NRL 360 that's live on Fox League, a big network. Paul Kent wouldn't be reporting that if it wasn't true. So
yeah, exactly.
Apparently it'll be announced in the next couple of weeks. But Maurice Walsh apparently set the sign with the Brisbane Broncos. Wow.
Look, this is what annoys me about the Warriors. And I'm going to be honest here right now. You let go of Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, your best player of all time. I'm calling it right now. One of your best players of all time at your club. He was the face of the club. The best fullback they had. They let him go to bank on this kid, Maurice Walsh. And now he's gone. A huge chance that he could be gone.
Who are they going to sign Matt Duffy next? Fuck's sake.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Hey, Matt Duffy ain't no Walsh, and he definitely ain't no Tuivasa-Sheck. So,
hey, boys.
Horrible management.
Boys, the new fullback for the Warriors, Dallin Watene-Zelezniak.
Oh, get in. Yeah, what a great fullback you'll be.
Stop it.
He's a great player, but for fuck's sake, he's not a fullback. He's a good player, but not a fullback.
Man. I'll say this right now. I said the Brisbane were on the up. I said the Brisbane were building a squad, and I did say that they were top 6 this year. Would Walsh be going to the club this year, or would he be going next year?
Not this year. Next year.
Next year. I'm telling you, man. The Brisbane have just pulled a bunny out of the hat. I think this is going to be a jackpot signing right here. This is huge.
If it's true,
this is huge.
Apparently it's true. I mean, Paul Kent wouldn't say this as a bullshit stunt on national television, a show like NRL 360. So there's got to be some truth to it. But apparently he's gone to the Broncos.
I trust NRL 360. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Just in the chat as well. I think someone in the chat just said Luke Metcalf for fullback next year. That could happen, I guess.
I'm not going to rule that out either. He's a good player coming through.
Not
ruling that out either. Wow.
But look, on the Dolphins, quickly, again, another player the Dolphins have let go. They've let go of Ponga, and now they've let go of Walsh.
Jeez.
It was either going to be. I honestly thought it was going to be one of those two when it came to the fullback position for the Dolphins, and now none of them are going. This is what I mean at the start. Why they need to sign spine players, because sooner or later they're all going to be signed.
Unbelievable from the Broncos. It's crazy. Let's move on from the Dolphins situation. But boys, topic number 1. Final topic of the show. Boys, why are the Bulldogs 1 win and 6 losses with the signings of Matt Burton and Josh Adokar? I know that they're sort of got a lot of new combinations to work out, but boys, we're going into round 8 this weekend. They haven't won since round 1. The only reason why they won in round 1 is because the hammer was offside by a foot. Besides that, they haven't won a game. They've been dreadful. They have lost a couple of close games as well. Start with you first, ProEnzo Vidz. Why are the Bulldogs 1 and 6? It's really disappointing for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, mate. It is disappointing because I expected them to do a lot better than what they were with the squad and signings they got as well. But to me, I think it's because they don't have any direction and no structure. You know, I think I look at the Bulldogs and I go, all right, they've got Burton, who obviously would control a game pretty well with his kicking and all that. They've got Duffy, who's an experienced fullback. They've got a real one, finally. But I feel like what's killing them is Marshall King at hooker. I think JMK is what's killing their momentum and attack. I don't think he does anything around the ruck either. I don't want to sound harsh, but I think Josh Jackson's part of the problem as well. I respect Jackson as a player. He is a good player, but he is not a ball-playing lock. I don't know why all of a sudden he becomes the first receiver in every play he gets, because he's not a ball-playing lock. I think, it's hard with Jackson. I don't know if he's a lock going forward. I don't know if he's a bench player going forward. It's very hard. But look, the main issue for the Bulldogs is that they don't have any structure. They don't have any attack. I think Barrett's a real reason why they're struggling because, as you can tell, he has the worst Bulldogs winning percentage record out of every coach who's coached there. He has a 12.5% record, I think, which is very average. And I was talking about this today, actually, with someone, and out of 31 games he's coached for the Bulldogs, he's only won 4 games out of 31. That tells me something that he's not the right coach for the job, and I think that it's really very poor, especially the squad he's got. So I will say the sooner Barrett goes, the sooner things will get better.
Well, that CHAMPA, what do you reckon, bro? Why are the Bulldogs 1-6?
It's a mixture of a lot of things, but it all comes down to direction, and it all comes down to Trent Barrett not knowing how to choose a halves combination and stick with it, and 2, not utilizing the players to their full potential. I'll start with this. I'll start with Kyle Flanagan. I am super fucking pissed off with how the Bulldogs have been treating Kyle Flanagan. That man right there is the top halfback. There was a reason why the Roosters picked him up. He had potential. Obviously, his time at the club didn't end so well, but he has potential. He's got a great kicking game, good passing, and he would have helped take a lot of pressure off Burton, who, keep in mind, is a young 18-year-old, now starting at 5'8" for the first time, in a starting position at 5'8" for the first time in a while. Because back last year, he was playing centre. And who do they put in front of Flanagan? They put a centre in Avarillo, and they put Wakeham, who I'll be honest right now, Wakeham's pure fucking dog shit. Kyle Flanagan should have been the first choice. From what he didn't even play preseason. What the fuck was that? And he keeps swept in the half combination all the time. Kyle Flanagan would have taken so much pressure off Burton. He would have helped them a lot. Not only that, but again, the forwards as well. And like you said, I reckon Josh Jackson, another player who's a part of the problem. I reckon he needs to go, or he needs to drop down to reserves, because I reckon he's taken the spot of a lot of young great players who could fill that spot well. And again, no ball out to the Fox. Come on. At this time, the Fox will be the leading try scorer at the Storm. He's nowhere near that now because he doesn't get any quality ball. I guess, again, it all comes down to the players need to gel. The players need to find their chemistry. But quite honestly, it's getting into round 8. And like you said, Barrett, his win-loss percentage at the Bulldogs has been really terrible. And I think it might need just a fresh start in the coach. I tell you this right now. Gus Gild, he sprayed the Bulldogs and he was leading the training session. It wasn't Barrett. It was Gus that was leading the training session. I saw that on 9. I reckon that's what they needed. They needed just a fresh face leading their squad. And I don't think Barrett's the man. I think he could go. He could go. I mean, look, they're always outside favourites in their matches. They're never close. Yep. They're always like $5, $9. Something needs to change there, and it could be the coach. It could be the coach.
Look, I think Kyle Flanagan is a good halfback, but I don't think Kyle Flanagan is the right man for the job. I think Kyle Flanagan needs to go somewhere else. I don't think the Bulldogs has suited him, man. With the situation that's going on with him and Trent Barrett, the Bulldogs seem more keen on Trent Barrett than Kyle Flanagan. So if I was Kyle Flanagan, I'd be looking elsewhere for a couple of years. Maybe go over to Super League for a year or 2. I don't know. But I just don't think Kyle Flanagan's good enough to be the halfback of this club. I know it's not all Flanagan's fault, but I think the Bulldogs just need to go in a different direction. I think also a new coach wouldn't be bad as well. Maybe it's best that they both move on. Maybe Flanagan moves on as well. Maybe Barrett moves on as well. I don't think Burton and Kyle Flanagan even work as a half pairing either. They don't gel. They're not working. So obviously that someone needs to go, and Matt Burton's not going anywhere. So I'm going to promise you that. So Flanagan and Barrett both need to go. Burton. I think they both need to move on. They need a better halfback. Obviously, they get money next year at hooker, which is going to be a good thing as well. I think Duffy at fullback's been very average. They also need a better fullback as well. But Burton, Addo Carr, man, they can't fix this club on their own. And 1-6 is a dreadful record. I know they've had to play a lot of tough sides, but it's just not good enough for this side, man. I thought they would have won more than one game out of the first 7 rounds, but just isn't to be. So I think Kyle Flanagan and Trent Barrett both need to go, and they need someone new and someone fresh to take over.
Should be doing a lot better. That's for sure.
Yeah. And also, I just want to say on Josh Jackson, I like Jackson. I think he's a very good player, but the problem with Josh Jackson is I think the game's getting away from him. I think it's getting too quick for him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what position he is anymore, boys. Is he a lock? Probably not. Is he a back rower? No, he's too slow for the back row. Is he a front rower? Defensively, he probably is. Is he able to run hard into the middle?
I reckon.
Take on the likes of Fanil Blake.
I reckon that might be the best.
Malolo, probably not. What's that, Champa?
I reckon maybe the front row would be the best position for Josh Jackson because it slows down the game for him, and it doesn't give them that too much responsibility. Or just take the ball up and make your meters. I reckon that's all he's good for now. It's to make meters in the forwards. Because like ProEnzo said, he had a ball carrying lock. All right, he can't. He's no Yo. He's no Murray. Okay, I reckon playing in the props could help him out. It could save his career. Maybe that's the new position he needs to take. I mean, he's not getting any younger.
Yeah.
No way.
No, that's right. Anyway, let's move on from the Dogs, but bloody hell, unbelievable, boys! I'm going to we haven't prepared for this, and look, it might be a failure. Who knows? New segment. I'm just going to call it a new segment. I want to trial it out anyway, just to see how it goes. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask you boys. It's going to be basically a game. Basically, I'm the host. You guys are the participants, and you guys are going to answer the questions. So we're gonna do it. So
all right.
All I want you to do. So what we're going to do is, whoever gets 3 questions right first is the winner. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put it in the chat right here. It's going to be good.
There's some fun here.
Right,
go on.
It's a bit of fun.
Bring it on, mate.
Going to get this on in
Bring
here.
it on. Don't call me all that champion for nothing.
Here we go. What was the score in the 2003 grand final? No one. Boys. If you read the chat, you're disqualified. You lose a point. First one to get free right.
All right. Well, I'm not searching up.
Was it
off my head?
Yeah. Was it Panthers 26, Roosters 12?
Wrong. Champa.
Oh no, the chat's getting away. Fuck.
You can't read the chat or you're disqualified.
Panthers 18, Roosters 10?
No, both wrong. It was 18-6 Panthers.
Oh! I was close.
We gave it away though. That's the issue.
Close. All right. I'll put another question in this.
All right, this is a good segment. Let's have some fun here.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey.
Now, boys, when I post the question up, you got to be quick. You got to be super quick because the chat will go berserk and you guys are going to be on the ball. So here we go. Question 2.
All right.
What was the score in the 2021 grand final?
14-12 Penrith.
Yes. ProEnzo Vidz 1.
Hey.
All that champions 0.
All
right. ProEnzo Vidz.
All right. You beat me there.
Vidz 1-0.
That's it.
All right.
All
right. I'm going to put another question in. All right. Here we go.
Oh, man. No.
All right. Here we go. ProEnzo Vidz is leading 1-0. Remember, it's first to 3. So ProEnzo Vidz is up 1-0. All right. Here we go. Next question. What NRL legend won 4 Dally M's?
Fuck. Andrew Johns?
Wrong. ProEnzo?
Smith.
Wrong. CHAMPA, you're next.
Fuck. Jonathan Thurston?
Cha-ching! All right.
Yes!
1-1.
Fuck.
1-1.
All
All right. It's 1-1.
Oh, this is good. This is good.
All right.
Right, peace.
All right. Another question. I'm just going to put it in the chat. All right. All right. What was the score? Righto. Boys, what was the score in the 2006 grand final?
Oh, God.
Oh!
I might know this.
I'll give you one hint.
Brisbane's.
No,
Yeah.
I'll give you one hint. It was a 7-point margin.
17-10. Brisbane.
Wrong. CHAMPA.
20. Fuck. 21-14.
ProEnzo Vidz is correct. 15-8 is the correct score.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about.
Fuck! Oh, I'm not doing
ProEnzo
good
Vidz.
with score margins. Fuck!
If ProEnzo Vidz gets the next score, ProEnzo Vidz is the winner. So it's 1-1. That's 2-1 ProEnzo Vidz.
Come on, one more.
Next question.
Oh.
Righto.
Fuck.
All right. It's going to be a yes or no answer.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Here we go.
If CHAMPA, okay, boys, the question is, did Benji Marshall play over 350 games? Over or under?
Under.
No, he didn't.
Was that the same time? That's pretty hard for me to judge.
I said under.
Oh.
Well, you both said under, and I don't know who said it first because mine looked like the same time. All right, what we're going to do, we're going to remove that question, and it's still 2-1. ProEnzo Vidz. We're going to do that. All right.
Okay.
I'll go with another question here. All right, here we go. Who won? All right, boys. Who won the 2010? Who won the 2010 Dally M?
Todd Carney.
Todd Carney.
ProEnzo Vidz was first. ProEnzo Vidz is the winner.
Let's go.
CHAMPA was close. It was a good match. Good battle.
Yeah,
good battle.
That was fun.
ProEnzo Vidz is the winner. 3-1.
It was a close one.
Good battle.
That was a close one.
No doubt about it. All right, boys. Let's get into
that was
round
fun.
of footy.
I like that.
Yeah, that was. All right.
That's great.
Let's get into the round of footy, boys. Let's go. We got round 8 of the NRL kicking off tomorrow night. All I want you to do is give me a margin and just give me an anytime try scorer. Or you know what? Actually, no. Right here. We'll go for the round of footy. Give me your margin of 1 to 12 or 13 plus, and I want your first try scorer. Fuck any time. I want to know who your first try scorer is. So here we go. Round 8 of the NRL, boys. Kicks off tomorrow night, 7:50 p.m. at Suncorp Stadium. Broncos and the Sharks up at Suncorp. CHAMPA, who wins this game and who scores the first try?
Broncos, Sharks 13 plus. The first try scorer is going to be the man of the hour, Talakai.
Love it. ProEnzo Vidz?
Yep, Sharks 13 plus should be too good, and my first try scorer will be Talakai as well.
Yeah, I'm going to Sharks 1 to 12, boys, and I'm going to go Britt Nakora, first try scorer. I'm going to go the back rower, Britt Nakora.
Ooh, wow.
I like it.
Decent.
I love him.
Not bad,
I love
not
the
bad.
bastard. You know, everyone who knows me, I love backing first try scorers for second row. The value is always excellent, so I'm going Britt Nakora, first try scorer. All right. Next game for round 8 of the NRL was Friday night, 6 o'clock at CHAMPA Super Stadium on the Gold Coast. Titans and the Panthers. All out CHAMPA. What happens here, mate? And who's scored first?
Definitely Panthers 13 plus. And my first try scorer, I'm going to go Crichton. I'm going to go Stephen Crichton.
Love it. ProEnzo Vidz?
Yep, Penrith 13 plus, and my first try scorer, been scoring every week. I'll go Taylor May.
Yeah, I'm with you, but I'm going to go the Panthers 50 plus. I reckon they'll score 50 on Friday night. And I'm going to go with a roughie. I'm going to go with Matt Eisenhuth, first try scorer in the front row.
Oh, wow.
Paying bad. Wow.
I don't know what it's paying, but I'm jumping on him.
Yeah, that'd be some big money. That'd be some big money.
The other game on Friday night at 7:55, Central Coast Stadium. ProEnzo Vidz will be in attendance because his birthday on Saturday. Rabbitohs and Manly. ProEnzo Vidz, mate, you go first, mate. Who wins and give us the first try score?
Okay, I'm not going to say it, keep this for too long going, but I am going to tip Manly to win, purely because they have to get up for my birthday. They have to win. Like, come on, I'll be there. I'll be meeting entertaining house. It'll be a fun night. Just hopefully they can get the win, you know? Okay, I think we'll win by about 4 points, and I'm going to go first try scorer, Parker.
Oh, Brad Parker. Wow. All that CHAMPA, what do you reckon?
That's not bad. Sorry to crash the birthday with ProEnzo, but I'm going to go South on this one. 1-12. 1-12. It's going to be close. First try scorer, Kolonga Matangi.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
I'm also going to spoil the party here. I'm going the Bunnies 1-12. And
this is our birthday present to Lorenzo.
Oh, no, fair. No. Come on, bro.
I'm going South 1-12. Blake Taff, first try scorer. Blake Taff.
Oh, okay.
All right.
That's not a bad pick, man. Good one.
Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock at Redcliffe. It's the Desperate Warriors versus the Desperate Raiders up at Redcliffe. All out CHAMPA. Who wins this game and first try scorer, brother?
It's going to be the Warriors finding their honor, finding their dignity. 1-12, and first try scorer, I'm going to go with Brisbane boy, Broncos bound, Maurice Walsh.
All right, nice. ProEnzo Vidz?
Yeah, I've gone Warriors by 1-12, and my first try is going to be. Yeah, I'm gonna back in Xavier Savage.
I don't know why I'm doing it, but I'm going the Warriors 1-12 as well. I don't like tipping the Warriors because they're so up and down, so hot and cold. But I'm going the Warriors 1-12, boys, and I'm reckon Adam Pompey will score the first try in the centres. I'm going to go Adam Pompey.
All right.
Saturday night, 5:30 at Stadium Australia, an old rivalry game here. The Bulldogs up against the Roosters, a good old rivalry game that we all used to enjoy. ProEnzo Vidz, who wins this game and who's going to score the first try?
Yeah. I think Roosters should be too good, and I think Roosters win 13 plus. And my first try, I'm going to back the man replacing Tupou, Kevin Nguama.
Love it. All that CHAMPA, Bulldogs and the Roosters, and first try scorer.
Yeah, Roosters 13 plus. Not much said about that. And the first try scorer, I'm going to go with Lorenzo as well. I'm going to go with Nguama. First try
Love
scorer.
it. I'm going the Roosters 13 plus, boys, and I'm actually going to go Angus Crichton first try scorer in the back row. Angus Crichton.
Ooh.
Love me some Angus Crichton. I'm going to back him.
Nick and his second rowers.
Love the second rowers. How good are they?
Love the second rowers.
They're beasts, man. They're amazing.
All
right. Saturday night, 7:35, arguably the game of the round. Third versus fifth up there in Darwin at TIO Stadium. It's the Eels up against my boys, the Cowboys. All out CHAMPA. Who wins and first try scorer?
Oh, sorry, Nick. I am going to go Paramount on this one. 1-12, though. Very close game. Very close. Oh, come on. Come on.
Oh,
All right, 1 to 12 though. It will it will be competitive though. And first try scorer. Jeez. I'm gonna go Will Penasini. How about that?
Ugh. Yuck. Anyway, ProEnzo Vidz.
Yeah, I think I'm going to jump on the Para train as well. I'm Para 1 to 12. And thank you. And my first try, Gufferson.
Oh, fuck that. Not Gufferson. Jesus Christ. I'm also going to go.
Let's hear it, Nick.
I'm not going Parramatta. Fuck that. I'm going the Cowboys 1 to 12, boys. And first try scorer. You know what? Reece Robson, first try scorer.
A bit roughy there.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. That's interesting.
I reckon from dummy half, he'll pick the ball up, he'll dummy Junior Paulo, and he'll go over.
Not bad shout ball.
Wow, it'll be that would.
All right,
that would
Sunday, Sunday afternoon, 12 o'clock there at Newcastle. Knights and Storm. Yeah, get the yawning out for this one. Knights and Storm. Everyone's been yawning for that. Champa, what happens here, mate?
Yeah, Storm 50 plus. 50 plus. I'm going to Storm on this one. And I'm going to go Justin Olam. First try scorer.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, he could probably score another one later on the night.
Definitely. ProEnzo Vidz?
Yep, Melbourne easily, I reckon. 13 plus for sure. And, yeah, my first try is going to be... I'm backing Harry Grant.
I like that a lot.
Ooh,
yeah, I'm with you, boys. I'm going to go Melbourne 41 plus. First try scorer. This is going to sound crazy. I'm going to go Josh King. He used to play for the Knights, boys.
Ooh.
I reckon Josh King against his old side will be the first try scorer.
Underrated.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
He used to play for him. Why not? There's no reason why he won't score first. Josh King to score first. And the final game of the round, well, bugger me, this is a hard one to pick. Sunday afternoon, Wynn Stadium down there at Wollongong. Dragons versus the Tigers. All out Champa. We know you're a big Tigers fan, but what's going to happen here, brother?
Close game. The Tigers won the 12. Very close there. And the first try scorer, hey, you guys wouldn't expect it. Lukey Brooks dives over for Magpie. How's that?
That's a big one. A big one. ProEnzo?
Interesting. Yeah, sorry, Champa. I've won the Dragons here, 1 to 12. And my first try is going to be, I reckon, Lomax.
Zach Lomax.
Well, all right. Let's hear it, Nick.
Sorry, brother. Dragons 1 to 12. And
fuck off.
More disappointment.
But first try scorer will be a Tigers player, and it will be Oliver Gildart.
That's not bad. I'll take that.
Guys, there are our tips and our first try scorer predictions for round 8 of the NRL. But boys, that's going to wrap up the Rugby League Breakdown podcast, episode 45. A new era, a new beginning for the podcast. Boys, it's been a great show.
It's been an amazing show. And again, I just want to say, guys, thank you for choosing me as the new co-host of the Rugby League Breakdown podcast. I promise not to disappoint you and, of course, the fans. I hope my performance out there was good for you guys. And to everyone watching, thank you for accepting me. Thank you for accepting me as a host.
Mate, it was a great podcast, and we had about 35 people here at one stage. And it's been a great show, and obviously you've brought a lot to the podcast. You've been a great addition. So everyone, go and subscribe to All Out Champa. I think it's got about 270 subscribers at the moment or something like that. Subscribers are looking good for All Out Champa. But, mate, thank you for becoming a new co-host of the podcast. And ProEnzo Vidz, as always, bro. It's been good as always.
Yeah, thanks again. Not much I can really say. It was going to have a good show, and good to have you on, Champa. I'm keen to do more shows with you.
Yeah. Well, thank you, boys. Fucking oath. And thank you, boys. I hope you all have a fantastic Wednesday night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the Thursday night football review between the Broncos and the Sharks. But before we go, I'm just going to say to everyone good night, and I'm going to show you guys the intro to the podcast. Anyway, have a good night, fellas. Have a good night.